Daniel KGK from Shenzhen, China.
OK 我们今天呢邀请到了 KGK 集团的副主席Mr. Sanjay Kothari， 但是他今天现在还没有上线，所以呢由 KGK 集团中国的总经理马优来代表他先在线上跟大家打一个招呼。
Hello， 你好。
欢迎。
And Mr. Sanjay Kothari is the vice chairman of the KGK group, which is into large-scale diamond manufacturing, colored stone manufacturing, jewelry manufacturing, mine-to-market globally.
OK， 那我们接下来呢是邀请 KGK 集团的副主席 Sanjay Kothari 先生来跟我们进行分享。因为 KGK 不光是全球最大的钻石交易商之一，彩色宝石交易商之一，它还是最大的这个成品交易商之一、生产商之一，而且他们是覆盖从采矿一直到零售市场的各个珠宝行业的各个环节。
So we're very pleased now to have this perspective from Mr. Sanjay Kothari. Thank you very much, sir, and welcome.
有请 Mr. Sanjay. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning to all of you all, and thank you very much for having me on this platform.
Good morning, sir.
To go into the first question, sir.
Right.
Could you first describe a little bit about KGK before we do the first question so people understand the global perspective, the amount of countries you're in, and the amount of market sectors that you're in, sir?
OK， Andy 想请 Mr. Sanjay 在开始之前先介绍一下他自己，因为他们的市场遍及全球很多的国家。
Sure. KGK is a 100-year-old organization and running into the 5th generation of the business. We are deeply invested into the gemstone industry. We have huge bandwidth in the diamond industry, manufacturing and distribution as well. And then further on, we've integrated by creating jewelry factories around the world. So it's a group which is well diversified. It is a group which has a few mines, in Brazil and Africa, and all the way to a few retail shops in India as well.
OK.
So we have been continuing to expand our business within all these sectors.
OK. Mr. Sanjay 说呢，他们是一个有100年历史的公司，现在已经是第5代。他们不仅涉及宝石、钻石，还涉及到珠宝成品的生产，而且是一个业务范围非常宽广的这个公司。而且他们在巴西等好几个国家都有自己的矿山。
So KGK is a true mine-to-market global company then, sir?
Yes, that's true. That's true. It's been 100 years. It's a long journey, but we've covered certain milestones.
OK， 因为他说100年是一个很长的时间，所以他们公司现在是一个覆盖了从矿区到市场全范围的一个公司。
One of the big questions that people have in China is the amount of rough flowing into Surat and Mumbai like it usually does for the cutting factories?
OK， Andy 的问题是，大家都知道印度是全球的钻石切割中心，他问的是，现在是不是还像过去一样，那些钻石的原石能够源源不断的来到他们的切割中心苏拉特和孟买
？Yes, looking at the current situation, it's a very choppy market, due to the pandemic. The April, May, June of 20 was very difficult. The pandemic was at its peak last year. So we had difficulties in getting the rough into the factories. But July, August onwards, I think things settled down in India and we had a lot of rough. And you know how, the business is, the moment there is a window which is open and there's an opportunity to manufacture, then people bring in a lot of rough. So we did manufacture very well. And the people did come back, the workers did come back in July. And the manufacturing was up to the peak till March. Then coming 21, April 21, the pandemic strike again. We had, COVID again, so it slowed down. But I feel that still in this particular phase, the factories were still on. The government allowed the factories to run, the workers to still work. and we are at about 90% capacity for the larger stones. And for the smaller stones, there is some difficulty. We are at about 75% capacity because still we are maintaining the social distancing. We are maintaining all those kind of basic conditions which the government has levied. And probably in the next 2 months, we will be at 100% production.
Okay. Mr. Sanjay 说的他呢，就是从去年就是印度的整体情况，那么从去年的4月份到6月份是比较困难的，因为当时有一波疫情，于是大家这个工厂的这个产能和一些这个原石的来源都受到了限制。那么在7、8月份之后情况好转，于是原石又能够源源不断的来到了印度，当时生产的这个能力又得到了非常的恢复，而且这个一直持续到今年3月份，它的生产达到了顶点，大家的这个产能还是非常好的。但是在2021年，也就是最近，那么又受到了疫情的冲击，于是他们这个生产又慢下来了，这个产能又慢下来了，而且工厂呢也是就是受到了影响，但是工厂还在开着。那么对大石头，就是这个大尺寸的原石，他们的生产呢，这个产能是过去的90%，对于小颗粒的宝石，产能是过去的75%。那么而且当然他们生产还是在这个维持社交距离的情况下来保持生产。那他希望在未来的1到2个月之内，他们的产能能够完全恢复。
Do you feel that from the major producers, Alrosa, De Beers, the Canadian mines, do you feel that they're all starting to supply better rough to you to keep the cutting factories going?
Andy 问的问题是说，他是不是感觉就是世界上主要的原石供应商，比如像戴比尔斯，是不是在努力的向他们供应原石，以保证他们的生产？
Yes, that's for sure. All the miners are very cautious. They're very prudent. They don't want to oversupply in a situation like this. So I think the supply has been carefully planned, and we are getting the rough as desired to manufacture within our factories. The demand is good worldwide, so we are very eager to grow accordingly.
那个Mr. Sanjay 说呢，所有的现在其实钻石的这个矿主都是非常谨慎的，他们非常小心的来进行这个原石供应的计划，以免出现这个供过于求的这种情况。所以呢，他们自己也是现在也是能够有足够的产能来消化这些原石。
That brings us to another question. How do you feel? Because you see the entire supply chain. How do you feel the situation is in the supply chain from all the way to mine to the market?
Andy 说，因为KGK 是一家公司，它能够从矿山到市场看到全产业链，所以他现在觉得钻石整体的产业链的供应情况如何？
I feel the supply chain is very consistent right now. Like I said earlier, because of the pandemic, there could be spikes. It's a little choppy. When there is a little aggression in COVID-19 situation, the supply becomes a little distorted, becomes a little disturbed. But once the pandemic is settled, to some extent, I think the supply continues. We are into a business of manufacturing, so it is very difficult to close down factories worldwide, every now and then. It has to be very consistent. So I feel the supply chain is, well managed as per the demand of the world. And we are in a good situation where supply is less and demand is more, which gives us a chance to have some profitability into the business.
Mr. Sanjay 说，他认为这个产业链的供应情况是非常持续一致的，因为现在确实因为疫情的原因有起伏，它的供应和生产情况确实有起起伏伏。但是因为工厂的情况是，一旦你开工，你要是突然关闭是非常难的，那么他们会尽量把它控制在可控的范围之内。而且现在市场上基本的情况是说需求在那里，而且钻石的需求有上涨的趋势，那么呢市面上的供应是减少了，所以他比较有信心，未来他们可以维持持续和稳定的供应。
What is your, with all the experience that you and your company have, what is your perspective now as we move out of COVID more long-term on the supply chain? Do you think the equilibrium will balance, sir?
OK，刚才安迪问的问题是说，根据他的经验，从长远来看，一旦疫情结束之后，那么我们整体的情况会是怎样？
Yeah, for sure. The equilibrium will be balanced. We've seen that several times. We have seen many seasons, slow and fast. As time pass by, there is, as people start traveling, as people start doing business normally, the supply chain will also come to a very normal position. The markets are healthy. We see the Chinese market, it's turning into a healthy market. America market is definitely very healthy. We see India market in a little bit of trouble, but will be turning soon around, we hope so. So looking at the worldwide situation, the supply chain will definitely be balanced in the coming times.
OK， Miss Sanjay 说，他说呢，长久来看，他会看到市场的供应情况应该是一个均衡的状态，因为现在的情况确实是有这个快和慢在交替的进行，有时候这个卖的销售是很好的，有的时候销售会比较困难。但是，一旦大家恢复了旅行，一旦大家能够回到常态去做生意的话，他看到了很多市场是非常健康的，比如说新兴的中国市场，还有欧洲市场、美国市场都是处于一种健康的状态。那么印度的市场现在有一点麻烦，但是随着长久的，一旦这个疫情过去之后，他相信一切会恢复正常。
You're the only company that we have here in the diamond business, and so extensive worldwide. What has it been like trying to keep all your operations? I know you've done a phenomenal job going during this pandemic. How do you work those logistics?
OK， 安迪问呢，因为 KGK 是现在我们所有嘉宾里面唯一的经营钻石的企业，他在问，因为他是企业规模是非常非常大的，所以 Andy 是说，你是如何想办法让所有的这样庞大的一个商业帝国在运行，而且呢，在这个疫情之间能够保持平稳的。
Yeah, KGK is worldwide. We have several factories. We are manufacturing diamonds in Russia, Botswana, Namibia, Angola, South Africa, India, and also we're manufacturing jewelry in Thailand. We have a factory in China. We're manufacturing within India as well. So it's a global manufacturing operation. We did have difficulties as the pandemic, took its toll. But fortunately for us, we did reduce our workforce and maybe by 5 to 10%. Not too much, but we continued very strongly because creating infrastructures is a very difficult job. It's not very easy, so we can't downsize, and we were always very optimistic. So we did reinvent the wheel. We did a lot of digitization, a lot of automation within our factories, and we try to tighten the manufacturing cycle, which we've been very successfully doing so.
Okay.
So within this period, we have been able to maintain our manufacturing at full speed. And as the COVID subsides, or as the COVID, takes a step back, I think we will be going forward by increasing our capacity again.
OK， Miss Sanjay 说呢，他们就是 KGK 是一个全球性的公司，仅以钻石为例，他们在俄罗斯、安哥拉的很多的国家都有自己的工厂，在泰国有自己的工厂，在中国有自己的工厂。那么在这样一个全球化的情况下，它可能全球的这个产能会有稍微受到一点点影响，但是在整体上来说，因为它的结构是这样一个全球性的，它很难把它的这个就是把它的人员给减少，基本上就是没有裁员。那么呢，它的生产一直也是进行了一些很多的投资和革新，比如说把工厂中的一些环节码化，让它的生产能够更加的顺畅。那么相信在这个病毒过去之后，他们会继续非常强劲的能够在全世界来进行这种生意。Yes.
Our next question, sir, how do you see the production and the supply and demand now in colored stones for ruby, sapphire, and emerald?
OK， 那么 Andy 想让这个 Mr. Sanjay 从全球的角度来看一下，那么红宝石、蓝宝石、祖母绿在全球的这个需求和供应，它是一个什么样的状况？现在
The demand for emerald, rubies, and sapphires I see is picking up very rapidly. There has been pent-up demand. People have not been spending for many months around the world. And in the last couple of months, we've seen very strong demand in the Chinese market for rubies and sapphires and emeralds as well. We have also seen very good demands in the American market for all the stones again. And we are seeing good demands in Southeast Asia. So we feel that the market has come back in full, in full bloom. India is the only market which was doing very well, but now it is a little bit under pressure. So we might have to wait for a couple of months for India to pick up again. But I feel that the supply is in shortage. We have less rough for the rubies and sapphires as well, and for emeralds as well. And the demands are very strong.
OK， 那他的大意是说呢，现在他觉得全球对于红宝石、蓝宝石、祖母绿的需求在增长，而且增长得很快。因为在过去的几个月呢，他看到了就是来自中国、来自美国，甚至来自南亚的非常强烈的这种关于这个贵重宝石的需求。印度现在它的市场增长是有压力的，但是等过一阵，等疫情结束之后，还会恢复到正常。那么现在基本情况是说，原石减少。贵重宝石、红宝石、蓝宝石、祖母绿的原石在市面上是有短缺的。那么需求呢？因为大家已经很长时间没有花钱了，就是大家没有旅行嘛，就是大家没有办法来花自己手里这个钱，所以但是对宝石的需求是很强烈的，所以它的整体的这个看法是非常乐观的。
The next question basically is, sir, is how are you seeing, especially from KGK's perspective, how are you seeing the business model changing worldwide from different geographical markets, price market sectors, internet and technology compared to face-to-face? How is it changing?
OK, Andy 这个问题是说KGK 是不是在过去一些年里看到了商业模式的变化？无论是说在产品的定价，在经营的由或者是不同国家不同经营的地点，以及在采用的不同的技术方面，我们在商业模式上有哪一些变化？
Yeah, for sure. The market has definitely changed. We have been in this business for so many years. Like I mentioned earlier, we were always legworking. We used to take our goods and we used to go to customers individually, speak to them, travel around the world, and grow our business. But I feel in the last 2 years, specifically after the pandemic, I think people have stopped traveling. So you can't stop your business, right? So you have to look for alternate means. People have gone digital. I think with Zoom and with Microsoft Teams, we feel that the coordination with the customers have become very digital, and the presentation of the goods also has become online. So I believe the online business versus the offline business, there has been a shift in the balance. Many people are going online, and we are trying to increase the momentum in the online business. We can see that definitely in the American market. American market was always very mature, but the pandemic has accelerated the process of online purchases by consumers of jewelry as well, and to a large extent. We see the same thing happening in China. China has multiple ways of selling their product online through WeChat, through various other means, and I think through live streaming, through KOL, very innovative ways of marketing. Again, it's all online, so the business is increasing rapidly through this medium. When we go back to a few other countries like India, which is still a little bit slow, but we see a great momentum. Companies who are organized in online, we see a rise in their sales. So definitely there has been a shift in the purchase pattern of the consumers. There are a lot of these young consumers, and even the mid-age consumers are now all moving towards digitization. So I see a shift in the way they buy as well. From the manufacturing perspective, again, digitization becomes an important aspect. More and more computers, more and more, instant information, instant gratification methods are being adopted to sustain and to grow the business.
OK. 刚才 Mr. Sanjay 讲呢，他在这个商业模式方面，他认为绝对出现了非常非常大的变化，因为他们的生意模型是在过去在全球的旅行建立全球的关系网络，那么在过去2年，因为疫情的影响，大家很难跨国旅行，而且呢，很多的人是不能见面的，所以他们仍然需要和客户建立联系，于是数码和网络交易变成一个非常重要的选择，而且通过 Zoom 通过一些其他的软件平台来建立新的联系，来建立新的这个线上交易。那他认为呢，线上交易的增长是非常明显的，在过去呢就是在主要是传统的线下交易，那么线上交易现在不但增长，而且它增长的会非常快，能达到一个线上线下的一个均衡，这个比例是一个此消彼长的关系，而且尤其是在美国和中国这样的市场，他看到市场和消费者的变化，他们在逐渐的接受线上购买，他们在逐渐的接受线上交易，而且一些 KOL 也就是网上这些大 V 的这些意见对消费者的影响是非常大的。那么线上生意在快速的增长，那么他觉得印度这个线上就是电子商务增长的稍微慢一些，但是也在从这个传统朝数码化在转移在变化，而且年轻一代甚至一些中年的顾客已经开始习惯于从网上购买珠宝。那么从工厂的角度来说，他认为数码化工厂的这个设施和生产的数码化就更加的至为重要，而且他对这个未来的这种成功和这个增加竞争力都是非常非常重要的。Yes.
And from these changes in practices, besides the challenges, do you see opportunities for the future?
那 Andy 请他分析一下未来有哪些机会。
Definitely, I see great opportunities. I see the modern ways of functioning are definitely helping us to grow our business, grow our profitability as well. So with this new change of functioning, from the manufacturing perspective, from the distribution perspective, both, I see that there is great opportunity. Markets are expanding. Chinese market, American market, Indian market, South Asian market, whether it is Vietnam, whether it's Burma, we are distributing to all these places. The Middle East is coming back. So I feel that with the positive sentiment, coming back into this world, there are great opportunities. Hopefully, the pandemic should be under control. Probably by next year, we will see a lot of countries being vaccinated. People being vaccinated, that will give a lot of confidence to people to come back to their original self. But I see great opportunities.
Okay. Mr. Sanjay 说他看到很大的机会，因为无论是从生产商就珠宝生产的角度，还是从销售的角度，他都看到市场的增长和新的机会，尤其是中国市场、南亚市场、美洲市场都有巨大的增长潜力。而且一旦明年如果大家大部分人都能打疫苗之后，那么疫情得到控制之后，市场的信心会得到恢复，这个时候他认为市场还是非常有机会的。
Thank you very much, sir. I'd just like to add that all my time at GIA and in the trade, KGK has always been so forthcoming with information and trying to help educate the industry and bring it forward. I really appreciate it.
OK, Andy 说非常感谢 Mr. Sanjay 的分享，而且他在他GIA 28年的从业经验中，一直在跟 KGK 保持很多的联系和交往。KGK 一直是业内非常领先的这种企业，而且他们不遗余力的来给大家提供宝石学方面的教育知识，来教育消费者、教育市场，来帮助行业的发展。谢谢。
Not at all. Thank you very much. It's always been a pleasure. It's wonderful to share our experiences. We believe the industry is very good. It's very, very well placed, but we need to engineer ourselves all the time to grow, and we'd love to share and we'd love to understand the other perspectives of people so we can grow our business as well. Thank you.
OK, 非常感谢 Mr. Sanjay 说他们非常乐意分享，非常乐意从别人消费者或者其他客户的角度来看待这个市场。他相信这是一个非常好的行业。谢谢。Welcome everyone. We are back. Yeah.
So we have a couple questions I thought would start out the group discussion.
Yes. Let's 我们现在来进行一些大家都关心的问题，请各位行内的专家大佬来给我们来解答一下。OK.
First, what is the basis? Because all of you have been successful and you've all been in the business for some time, and many with families that have been in the business. What is the basis for your success? How have you been successful and continued to grow and be leaders in the industry?
OK， Andy 讲，因为各位都是行业内比较成功的这个企业，那么他首先一个问题是因为观众很关心，我作为一个珠宝企业，我如何能够取得成功，是什么原因？而且一旦我做得不错之后，我又如何能够维持这样一个水平，一个水准
？Perhaps Mr. Sanjay, we can start with you, and I'll move to each person.
OK.
Yes, for sure. I think for every company to be successful, it is very important to have a vision and then to execute. So execution is a very important aspect of every business. There are many dreamers in this world, but less achievers. And this only happens when you execute your dream very well.
Yes.
So I believe teamwork is very important. Creating, a good team of people, delegating to them the right responsibility, and making sure that you're taking care of your team members very well.
Yes.
Motivating is a very important aspect. So if you combine all these ingredients, I think it is not very difficult to be successful. But the process of combination of all these different kinds of, different kinds of things is a very important aspect.
Mrs. Sanjay 说呢，他说实际上，在这个世界上，做梦的人非常非常多，梦想家非常多，但是真正能够成事的人非常少。它其中的关键只有一个差别，就是执行，就是能够完成。那么完成需要几个因素，要搭建你自己的团队，要有非常非常奉献的这种精神，大家都愿意为这个事情努力奉献。同时呢，你要关心你的团队成员，你要关心你的员工，同时给大家一个共同向前的动力。他说这些因素呢，加起来说起来很容易，但是如果能够把它结合起来，能够真正实行，是一件非常重要的事情。